I'll tell you a story of a far distant land and how things don't always go just as they're planned. A tale of supply and a tale of demand and the music they played in a rock and roll band.
Pablo, are you going to tell that story again?
Yep, and this time I've got an audience. Looking for some food, huh? Well, I guess everyone has to eat. Tell you what, you stick around and I'll see if I could catch you some fish, okay? Hey, you catch on pretty fast, partner. Guess I better introduce myself. My name is Pablo, and I'm the founder of the Greater Mocha Wood Supply Company. And that's my wife, Tanya. We live on the island of Mocha. Ever heard of it? That's okay, you will. Of course, we're not there right now because I'm out exploring for more wood again. We had a population explosion a few years back, and meeting the demand for housing used up a lot of our trees. So it's up to me to find new sources of supply. That's how the big noise on Mocha really began. But I guess I'm getting ahead of my story. It all started when I returned to Mocha from one of my lumber expeditions. This time, I had traveled further than ever, all the way to the Caraway Islands in the north, and to their eastern neighbors, the Oreganos. And I brought back a couple of surprises with me. As usual, things were humming in the marketplace. Now that practically everyone owned a car, Cecil the carpenter was doing a big business in garages.
Hi, Pablo. How's my main man? You have a good trip?
Sure did, Cecil.
I hope you brought back lots of wood. Looks like I'm going to need about half a boatload.
And Cousin Henry, who invented the car, had now expanded into service and repairs.
Let's see, that'll be 2 clams for the new tire, and 4 more for the replacement parts.
Hey, you told me this thing runs on wood, not clams, Henry.
The whole economy runs on clams, Oscar. Drive carefully now.
Benny Sixtoes, our coconut seller, had sure brought up his sons to follow in their father's footsteps. And the baby boom had produced a flock of teenagers, not to mention a flock of new businesses.
How much is this, please?
Only 3 clams. It's just in from that new designer, Sarah Sahara.
You wouldn't need a babysitter, would you?
But even though the Mocha economy was going strong, it was changing as always. And not everyone was completely happy with the changes. When the birth rate slowed down, some of the old businesses took advantage of new opportunities, while others just shut down. On top of that, the Mocha youth were still complaining about having nothing to do.
Boring!
While the Mocha grown-ups were complaining mostly about what the kids did do. And over at Big Daddy's, he's the chief of our island, the Mocha farmers were complaining about the price of wheat.
They're at it again, Big Daddy. The food price index just hit another low. Either we're going to have to find a new market for our grain,
or some farmers are going to have to find new careers.
Webster, they simply don't understand that progress affects supply and demand. When the tractor replaced the horse, productivity stepped up, of course.
But now that the baby boom's over, we don't have more and more people to eat all that wheat they're producing.
You see, when supply increases while demand is leveling off, the price of anything will fall. And that's what was happening with Mocha grain. Now comes the part about the surprise I brought back. Little Augie, who's my assistant, was the first to find out about it. Boy, did he ever.
Hey, boss, what's this thingamajig you got here? I never saw one of these before.
Oh, that. I picked it up in the Caraway Islands. It's sort of like a talking box.
A talking box? How does it work?
Here, I'll show you. You just don't touch the...
Yay! She's alive! Boss! What do you call that thing?
A radio, Augie. It's okay, you can come down now. You see, when you move this dial, it tunes in on different programs.
And now, Inter-Island Network News with INN, your in. First, the Nutmeg Island Weather Report. The forecast for tonight is dark.
Days of our nights. The continuing story of 2 people trapped in a world they don't understand. In today's chapter...
Here's the pitch. It's a long drive to left. Back. It's a foul ball.
But where do all those noises come from?
Beats me, but I know they make the radios in the Caraway Islands. In a few days, the radio was the talk of the island. A new market was being hatched on Mocha, and so were a lot of new business ideas.
What a great product. Think of the possibilities. If we had these here on Mocha, it would sure boost my cabinet-making business.
I expect people wouldn't want to go anywhere without one. Eureka! I can see it now.
See what, Henry?
My new slogan. A car in every garage, a radio in every car.
Hey, not bad. You know, you could probably use this radio thing to sell stuff. Like with little messages between the programs. I could start a whole new career in advertising.
But, Augie, you're the best wood chopper in Mocha.
Yeah, but this sounds like a better opportunity. And I'd be in on the ground floor.
That's right. Anytime something really new comes along, it has a way of changing things. Look what happened when I invented the automobile. Now we have roads and tractors and garages.
And traffic cops.
Meanwhile, Webster the Wizard, the king's chief advisor on serious matters, was getting the message too.
My Webster Wiz is onto something big. It's showtime. Wait till Big Daddy-O sees this.
This calls for some action, and quick. Can you find out what makes this talking box tick?
Webster, why don't you and Pablo take the radio over to Cousin Henry? Maybe he can figure out how it works.
A capital idea. Webster is our #1 thinker, but Henry's a thinker who can tinker.
Well, it didn't take Henry long to discover the answer. And this time, the surprise was on me.
Here's the secret. Only I don't know what it is.
Pablo must know. He's got one hanging around his neck.
My gosh, it's a crystal. I got mine in the Oregano Islands. They popped up all over the place when their volcano erupted last month.
Henry, if we can import these crystals from the Oreganos, we could produce radios here on Mocha.
We could. The question is, should we? It might be better for us to buy radios directly from the Caraways and sell them here.
Well, I picked up this one for 10 clams. Seemed pretty reasonable to me.
10 clams? That sounds like a steal.
But the Caraways specialize in making radios. They thought the 10 clams they got from me was a steal.
Well, why can't we make radios, too? We're bigger and more advanced. We produce more goods and services, and we have plenty of know-how.
It's true. That's why we're so good at producing wheat and other things. But if we want to make our own radios, we'd have to give up producing something else, like wheat. We'd have to retrain people and build new factories.
And there's the cost of raw materials.
Wait, I'll project the production costs on the Webster Wiz. Looks like a ballpark cost of $14 to $15